welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox. You're on the show this evening. There's Bridgeman and young GB. Evening, gents.
Good evening. How you getting on?
All right, mate. Your good self?
Aye, all good. I hope you're well as well, Bridgeman.
I'm indeed, pal. Can I just say a big good evening to you two guys? Huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Can I just say happy birthday to Bridge?
Happy birthday.
Thank you, pal. Thank you, pal.
He's trying his best to get his jag first.
It would be lovely. It would be absolutely lovely and get that.
Where are we? GB, obviously no spoke to you for about 10 days now, approximately. This pantomime that is Scottish football,
It's I was saying earlier, it's brilliant. I leave these for a week and I come back and there's umpteen headlines, so I'm just going to keep out your road for these next couple of weeks and see what else arises, because I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from Rangers, and I'm enjoying what Scottish football's offering up as well. It's brilliant.
Rangers just need to sit in their horns, don't they, and keep winning football matches. The rest of the other entertainment will happen elsewhere.
Oh, definitely, Oxy. And Rangers are, they just seem to be charging on now. That game up at Aberdeen, another feisty game, and a hard-fought win, and the team got through it again. Really impressed with them and really proud of them as well.
Aye, that was a convincing win. I think the scoreline flattered Aberdeen Bridge, yeah?
Oh, most assuredly. I think that if we had scored 4 or 5 there, nobody would have complained, even 6 or 7 for that matter. But I have to say the manner in which we lost the goal is just crazy. It was just crazy. We ended up with we were 4 players against their 2, and they still managed to feed the ball through us, and we didn't know what to do. We were left trailing in their wake at times. So that was a wee bit, shall we, back to reality type thing. But no, seriously, they should never get anywhere near us. Never. We were miles and miles. What did I tell you? 71% or something like that. Possession we had. 79%. 79% possession. That tells you itself, doesn't it?
A wee bit eager, Bridge, do you think? Do you think we're just the wee bit of rushy blood that we're just trying too hard for that third goal?
Well, I think it's always good to score goals, and when you see it, by the way, I wouldn't blame any of the players for doing it anyway, because when you see the way we were playing versus the way they were playing and the way the game was going, they were back at their goal line nearly in some cases, you know. Loads and loads and loads of players back there. So difficult to break down. But we did it, and I thought St. Morelos was outstanding for us, obviously getting the goals. But they were never in the game, in my opinion. I thought they were never in that game. There was no danger to Rangers at all. I think the press and people watching the game would turn in and say that, Rangers were panicking. And I don't know if they did this, but I'll put money on it. They would say Rangers were panicking. The pressure that Aberdeen were putting on Rangers, terrible. Rangers didn't know what to do with it. That's the kind of stories we're going to hear.
We demand 5 minutes. Apart from that, with no danger, you know.
That's it. No danger. Yeah.
But a good result, GB. And another one ticked off the calendar, mate. That fridge of yours must be getting more colourful as you're ticking them all off.
It's always good to get the Aberdeen games, I feel, at the road, Ox, especially the away games. I'm always kind of relieved once the games are at the road, because it is a tough place to go, and depending on the time of year you're going up there, the weather can be horrendous as well, and it can be right cold. So, not that that's an excuse for any of the Rangers teams going up there, but it's still a hard place to go to, isn't it? And they love to give us a game, and they love to give us a karate lesson as well during the game. So,
have we done it, mate? We've shown a side of this team that I don't know. I'll ask you to this. Did we know this team was there? When we had the sort of Gerrard team the first 2 seasons, it was either 3-0 or you would drop points. We couldn't just grind results out like we did at Tannadice, that we arguably done against them fair across the city. And then we went up to Pittodrie. I don't know if grinding out for that performance would be fair, but just to go and win games with a single goal, Hibs at Ibrox, see the game out Kilmarnock away. We weren't doing that the first 2 seasons. Gary, then Bridge.
Yeah, well said, Ox. You're right. The team has matured in that department. I think they said once obviously the season was finished last season that they gave them a lot of time to prepare for this season in the training ground, and I think that's something that they've obviously worked at. They've probably discussed as a team where they can make big improvements, and the stats tell you that the defence has won his games this year, to be fair. So it's not so much our strikers that are doing the work. Our defence is actually making us get out of the line with these games now. So I think that's the biggest difference out of the previous 2 seasons, to be honest.
So you think that 6 goals is very important? Against, it's very good, isn't it?
Like when you're looking at our... obviously, we can maybe go into it later, but I was hoping to jump into the Back to the Future kind of style, where we're looking back at some of the top title winning seasons and stuff like that, and look at their stats and see when you see some of the losses that our title winning sides had compared to how we're sitting now.
This is right up there with some of the best run that a Rangers team's ever had. This is 15 wins in a row. I think we've only bettered that twice in history. Once when we won every game back in Bridge was a baby, and the other one was obviously under Ali in the lower leagues, which, let's be honest about it, we don't really count, if I've been honest, Davey.
No.
You know,
but it's like what I was saying there. It's like I actually felt embarrassed because I feel as though I don't give Steven Gerrard's team, like, I give them credit, but I don't really put them up there with Walter Smith's 9-in-a-row winning team, or Dick Advocaat's winning side at Parkhead and stuff like that. And yet, see when you look at compared to the stats and stuff like that, and what he's working with, it's actually should be giving him more credit, because it opens your eyes. It just shows you how well they're doing, and maybe we're the team is well overachieving.
Maybe you're right, mate. Maybe you're right. I mean, obviously, when you go back so far, you've got 2 points for a win and different things. But I think when we look at that, we'll just maybe look at the losses and maybe the goals and different things, you know. But football was a wee bit different then, Bridgeman, wasn't it? It wasn't such a tactical battle. More teams were out and played more openly than they do now, didn't they?
Oh, yes. The style of the teams that you built up were quite much the same as every other team. You know, your big centre half and 2 half-decent midfield players, to be all intents and purposes. And then your wingers and inside forwards. That's the kind of stuff, W style. Every team played it. But the onset of the Europeans coming in, they started changing things, and you get 4-2-4 and 4-4-3, 4-4-3 or something like that, you know, whatever that is. So all these things all come out, and we and Rangers anyway, we tried to follow that, and we did. But we got some great. Still needed a good striker. You always needed a good striker. So we had some great strikers, Steen and through to big Derek Johnson. And marvellous stuff in those days, just marvellous stuff. I've really enjoyed everything that we've ever had, you know. So I said that wrong way around there. I think it was Johnson and then Steen. So my apologies there. But no, the when you think of what
Steen was before Derek Johnson.
Steen and Johnson, that's fine. Then okay, that's right enough, because it was 71. He scored the goal, the old Firm 70, something like that. But we Rangers have been really, really good in the vanguard of most of the stuff that we're going on, apart from the lulls in our games, and sometimes we couldn't get the team to play together and anything else. Needed fresh injections of cash and things like that. But our team, great.
I don't know if cash is always the answer, but I think maybe I'm wrong here when I'm picking you up, Gary. Is what you're saying is this current team getting the credit, even at the moment, how good they've been. There's one thing missing, isn't there? That takes you to the next level, but the stats at the moment are excellent. But there's one thing that takes you to the next level, mate.
And it's obviously silverware, isn't it? That's what's. I mean, if you give me a couple of minutes, it's like looking at Smith's 9 in a row.
Oh, I've got everything in front of me, mate. Everything. Just tell me what year you want, and I've got everything in front of me. If you go back to the team in 1975 when Bridge was at his peak.
You need to tell me about the times, Bridge.
Bridge was at his peak, and all right, it was 2 points for a win, but it was a last to the old 18-team league, Bridge. Yeah. So we moved to the Premier League after that, and 34 games, 18-team league. We won 25, drew 6. Lost 3, 86 for, 33 against. Yeah. So we never took points in 9 of the games. Obviously, we've still got 10 games, we've still got 15 games to play at the moment, I think. But the stats are more favourable to the team at the moment. But what I would say to you, Bridget, football's changed a bit.
Oh, yeah, massively. In my opinion, massively. I mean, you can go back further, back into the late 60s from when England won the World Cup. They introduced what did they call them again? The robots, Ramsey's robots. And then you had the great Pele's team in 1970. And it goes on and on and on, the great Argentinian teams. And we, Rangers, we've had, all the way through all this, we've had some great teams followed by pretty poor performances for maybe a couple of seasons, and then it picks up again. And I think I was so proud to be a Rangers fan all the way through all that. It was just wonderful. I've had a couple of breaks, as you know, but working abroad and working like yourself doing in England.
That's what we'll put in the book. He's
working
abroad and doing south. One day, in his final book, you'll get the real story.
But seriously, the Rangers have been great. A marvellous club, and they're standing tall. And they're doing that right now, standing tall in their own right. That team are playing out of this world football. And if they don't get kicked off the park between now and the end of the season, there's very few teams that are going to come up against us at all and do anything.
What was it like? See that 1975 squad? What was the pressure like for them at that kind of time? Like for obviously competing with Celtic and stuff like that.
We weren't the most successful team at the time, but we just won the League Cup 71, European Cup Winners' Cup in 72, the Scottish Cup in 73, the Centenary. We never won anything in 74, and then we bounced back in 75 with a league. I think the pressure on us would have been. I don't know if it was seen as such a feat as it is now because it's became a holy grail, because both teams have had a shot at it. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you the man that would know, if he can remember, and I'll bring him in, is Mr. Fox, because he was his rampaging best around about then. White safari jacket from City's Cash Tailors, and there was no stopping the man. Leather as well.
White safari jacket, brilliant.
It's true, you've seen it. Right, bring in Mr. Fox. He'll maybe, honestly, I'm not taking the pee when I say this. I was at Easter Road, but it didn't mean a lot to me because I was too young. Mr. Fox, in you come, brah.
Good evening.
How we doing?
I was too young. Come
back to Jock Wallace.
Jock Wallace, he took you off to Willie Waddle after Barcelona.
Aye. The time we won the league, Colin Steen didn't play many games, mate. It was Derek Verlaine, was it no, back then?
He'd come back. Colin Steen had come back, and because Coventry had to pay the rest of the money, yeah?
Aye, but our main striker that year was Verlaine, wasn't it?
Right,
King of Ibrox Park, isn't it?
Let me just get the games up, who played and when. But you had obviously him, Derek Johnston as well, scored goals, yeah?
Aye.
You know, but he played football then with two wingers, didn't he?
Aye, you did indeed. It was a different league altogether back then. You had big teams like Thistle. Who would be in the league that year?
I'll give you a full road on, mate. I'll give you the full road.
Morton would be about at that time as well, I take it.
Who
else? Airdrie. That's all I can remember at that time.
Rangers, Hibs, Celtic, Dundee United, Aberdeen, Dundee, Ayr United, Hearts, St Johnstone, Motherwell, Airdrie, Kilmarnock, Partick Thistle, Dumbarton, Dunfermline, Clyde, Morton and Arbroath.
If I remember right, it wasn't a fantastic. Winning the league was fantastic, but we've done poorly in the cups. I think Hibs knocked us out of the Scottish Cup. I don't think we even get through the sections in the League Cup.
Hibs knocked us out of the League Cup, aye.
Aye, but I can't remember. I think there was one game, I think it was the last game of the season when I think Airdrie beat us in the very last game, did they know?
Airdrie, that would have been after that, the match after it, because it was a gala day and we lost it, didn't we? Because we'd won the week before at Easter Road. Yeah. And the gala days were real modern events. I mean, it was a bar with a team getting round the park with it.
I'll tell you another one I remember well from back then was Big Curly Heat, Big Stuart Kennedy, mate, who was fantastic that season for us.
I
think he was a goalkeeper because McCloy was going out of it then. Other teams, I think Alec McDonald with Tommy McLean would have been still playing then. Can't think it's Sandy Jardine would be about. Who else can I think of? Alec Muller, he'd be there as well.
He would have played a lot of games. John Gregg wouldn't have played much. He was sort of, I think he was injured the day we won it. I'll get you the team the day we won it, mate. Easter Road. I'll just give it if you just give me a 1 minute. Obviously, Alec McDonald would have been in midfield. Oh, good point, that mate. Good point.
Oh, who was Stingray no there, the winger then? Quinton Young?
Aye, Quinton Young was there. Bobby McKean.
Aye. He'd have been in the middle.
I think it was him that put the cross in for Colin to equalise. But, I mean, these guys there's a lot of legends around about then, obviously. John Gregg, Colin Steen, Tommy McLean, Sandy Jardine. You know, guys that are a real integral part to our history. But it's not a team that the 75 team, we look back at it obviously because they won that game, but it's not a team that rhymes off the tongue like some of the other famous Rangers teams, Fox, is it?
No, it is not. I think we were going through a lot of bringing in players, young players. There was a young boy debuted then, Alec O'Hara, was it? Alec O'Hara would have been about then.
He would have been about, aye.
I can't think of many more. Alec McDonald would have still been playing.
Aye.
That's about as much as. But the team was changing after the Cup Winners' Cup final, and we were starting a rebuild then. And then, of course, I think the next year we went on to win the treble, didn't we?
Aye, and then people start looking at it in a different light because of that. Was that fair?
Aye. But that was an important season for Rangers to get back winning again after a long spell of no winning the league, you know.
Fox, was that a time when money started coming into the game? So that, like, say, Rangers and Celtic started pulling away from these other teams? No. If
you look at that season, Hibs were second, mate. Hibs.
Right.
Hibs were second, Celtic were third. All the teams would have been predominantly Scotsmen, Fox, eh?
Oh, aye. I don't think there would be any foreigners back then, would there? Can't think of any about that time here. You put me on the spot because my mind's not as sharp as it used to be.
Is that maybe how the actual national team done better then, in a sense, because there was a more competitive league?
This might be a fair point. Maybe a fair point. And all English teams had good Scotsmen in them as well. Then the pressure that GB asked Fox was the pressure on that season to win like it is this season, and I couldn't answer it. You there, Fox?
Find it hard to remember that back that far, mate. Especially a season that, although it was an important season, it's no one that sticks out like a treble winning season. I don't know if we went into that season expecting to win the league or no, although Rangers supporters always expected to win it. Would that be stopping the 10 in a row that year?
Aye, it was. By the way, we won the league with 4 games to go.
Aye. See, when you were talking about the Easter Road game, I think I knocked a ball then. Know how they kick about it before the game started, and the ball came into the crowd and I just stuck off my jumper. I can remember having that for years.
Right, do you want to try and see if you can have a guess at the team that day? I'll not put you on the spot. Let's see. I think we've mentioned the vast majority of the players. There was one famous sub. Do you want to try and name the team at Easter Road that day?
It'll be Kennedy in goal. Jordan. Alec Miller. Big DJ. No, would it be Colin Jackson?
Yes, correct.
Forsyth. So
yes,
Colin Jackson.
And Forsyth, correct, yep.
Wingers. Would it be Quentin Young?
No. We've mentioned the both of them.
Tommy McLean?
Aye. You mentioned the one that put the cross in.
Oh, God. Bobby McKean?
Aye, that's it. Team Kennedy, Jordan, Miller, McLean, Jackson, Forsyth. Sorry, McKean, Jackson, Forsyth, McLean, Steen, Parlin, McDonald and Johnson, Derek. Substitutes, come on. John Gregg.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. And they didn't have big squads then, and obviously Colin Steen got the goal. I don't think I'll put my hat out. I don't think there was as much pressure then, but somebody might answer me for a different era, Fox, yeah?
Aye, I wish Bill Bob Jerd was about. He's got a better memory than me.
I'm sure that Allbear will be shouting at me this now. Oh, Bob Jerd. You might have got your wish, Fox. You might have got your wish. But that team's not looked at as fondly as the treble-winning teams, is it? You know?
No, but you had a lot of players there that had won the Cup Winners' Cup, mate, you know?
Aye.
Some famous names in there, you know?
Okay.
So.
Aye. All right. Some real famous names in there, GB.
Aye, it's brilliant. Like, he's listening to the old names and stuff like that, and getting a wee bit of a background on how things were like then and stuff, and how. I mean, you're saying there that that team there went out and stopped a Celtic team getting 10 in a row. Then, I mean, and it would just be great to know the kind of comparison to now how important it was, because we know how important this season is for us, and I know how I'm feeling about it, and it'd be good if there's anybody out there that.
I'll tell you a man if he's listening that might know. He was on Monday. JFK, give us a phone if you're sitting there. He's taking. I think he's taking up embroidery or something, or cake making or something. He was telling me. So if he's sitting
cake making, probably.
Aye, he used to eat them. Now he's making them. Right, give us a phone. He'll remember it well because he was at his peak then. He was around about some mid-50s. He'd have been in his late teens, I think. So he'd have known.
So what's the question you're asking about the mid-50s?
The pressure.
Aye. Well, ever since I was a youngster and starting my apprenticeship, I've noticed that no matter what happened when you went up to Ibrox, the pressure was on. The pressure from the fans. The fans were very vocal, and we had far better fans then than we have now. If you follow what I mean. But today,
What way, Bridge? What way?
Well, I mean, they were more demanding. They're more demanding. I think our fans have changed slightly, and we're more realising that we've been through a very, very severe trauma over the last number of years there, and we're coming back up, and we're getting there. I'm not saying we're no demanding. We want to win, of course, we want to win, but then it was like they were in. They were the people. Simple as that. And it was all about we retained that, and you had this rubbing against them, but it wasn't as bad. That rubbing, it wasn't as bad until I feel we went down. And when we went down, we kind of shut ourselves away and got on with it and lift ourselves up. And look at us now, sitting at the top of the league, and they're no biting. The Rangers aren't biting to anything that they've got to say. They just got on with it, go on and do what you want to do, which they did. And screwed everything up for themselves.
No. We've been joined by Bob Chair. Well, no, was that game? He's next to me. How we doing, Bob Chair?
How you getting on, boys? Oh, you're talking about my prime time era with the feathered hair and the bell bottoms and the platform soles, right? Yeah, I remember it like yesterday. We Bobby McKean crossed the ball for Big Steen to hit into the back of the net. Yeah. At that time, I didn't think the cup competitions mattered so much to Rangers. Joe Wallace had 10 hours solely as a manager, and Wally Worrell had moved upstairs, pro Barcelona. And Joe Wallace had them extremely fit as York and Gull and Sands and what have you. And the focus was on the league because, yeah, you're talking about pressure there. There was pressure because they were going for 10 in a row. But they had declined a bit because they were a team that at that time, I can remember around about, they were heavily reliant on McGrain and Dalglish at that time, and it never worked for them. And the Rangers came out, and Steen came back, and his second game back, he got sent off up at Dundee after 8 minutes. And you're on about Big Stuart Kennedy, who lives local to me, he lives down in Kincardine, he's a Kincardine boy, and he was absolutely magnificent that day at Dundee, and Rangers dug in, and Big Tam Forsyth was running about flinging. You might even call him Jaws Rocks.
Aye, do it.
Well, he lived up to his name that day. Dundee had a wee winger called Wilson Hogan at the time, and and Big Tam just chopped him in half that day. All right in about it, him and Greg. But we're doing 10 men after 8 minutes, and Rangers dug, and they won 2-1 that day, and that was one of the prime results that carried us out to the championship. I mind that, yes, there was a lot of pressure, and it was a big time for Rangers, and I say that a lot of the effort was channeled into winning the league that year to stop them winning 10. And here we are again. We've done it again. Much to my demise right enough. I don't like to see them winning 9 leagues in the trouble. I think their first one was a bit more creditable than what this year is. Great subject tonight, guys. You can fire all the questions that you want. If I can answer them, I'll certainly try.
Mm-hmm. Bob, was that the year with the Hibs Celtic Cup final when it was 6-3 for them or something? A Dixie Dean's hat trick, if I remember.
No, I think that was earlier on, Fox.
Was it? Okay.
The 75 final was Airdrie and Celtic.
Aye. Yeah. Celtic won 2-0.
That was Big McNeil's last minute. He retired, wasn't it?
Aye.
Right.
Am I right in saying Celtic won 2-0?
Oh, mate. Take your word.
Aye. No matter, anyway. No matter.
But do you think... Here's a question, right? I'll go to Bridgeman with this and then GB with this. And so... the modern world, you wouldn't have internet programmes where they just have programmes on the ticks are on every night for 2 hours talking about Rangers. You wouldn't have that back in the 70s. The press and a wee bit on the football. So maybe the pressure comes from modern society rather than,
Well, I think in those days, remember the press were big, the papers were very big, and they had all sorts of different issues. So there was stories going on all day, and they had an issue at lunchtime. Printed press somewhere about 11:30 in the morning, and then they had like 3 in the afternoon. Sorry?
Football focus.
There was mostly what I mean is that the newspapers, all the newspapers, certainly in Glasgow, had 3 issues in the afternoon and an issue just at lunchtime. And that's where most people got their stories. And you had guys all over the town standing selling papers and things like that. Incredible. They sold millions of newspapers, millions. And that's the only place you could get it. Because we didn't even have, in those days, you didn't have a full set of radio stations available that could do this. You might get the BBC, but you would end up with London or BBC London or something. However, and through the 60s that all changed, and they started to come on, and you're right up to now when you got it in the internet, and you get Radio Clyde giving that impartial view of everything, and the same with the BBC. You know what I mean? They're all impartial. It went from probably half decent to what they are now. Just totally isolated, toxic people. Sorry, pal. Okay.
Your blood pressure. We're talking about the difference in society, GB. Obviously, you need to maybe speak to your granda, for being honest. You've no got people on Facebook. You've no got iPod. You've no got podcasts. You've no got people on all the places, Facebook, etc. You've no got all the banter building up the pressure. But I suppose it's just a game of football, and the pressure would be there, like before.
I think, like say nowadays, you can't escape it. You go into your motor. You hear that you've got like other radio stations on constantly, and then you, like you say, you've got your phones and stuff like that. But like you say, the main point that I think we're trying to talk about tonight is that when you're comparing a team that was trying to stop 10 back then, there must have been nerves, and the way our team is now, there'll be nerves and excitement still waiting for this to come. And it was just, obviously Bob Gier gave us a good insight there that it's good to know that there's still that pressure there. But I think if you're comparing Steven Gerrard's what he's got to produce this year, the pressure must be immense for him. It must be, like I said, it's just really hard to compare how this team compares to, like I says, previous big title winning seasons. I mean, there must have been a big pressure at some point, Oxjaro and us winning our 9 in a row to meet Celtic's 9 in a row. Do you think?
I think the last 2 seasons of that were pretty nerve-wracking. Obviously, you've got the Gaza for the 8 and Laudrup's famous header for the 9, where we did stumble over the line, and we blew it. We blew it the last year. I mean, for the 10, we lost up at Aberdeen after we beat Celtic twice in a week, the Scottish Cup and the league. To get back in top, we lost 2 games like in St Johnstone. I think we lost to Kilmarnock, on the run-in, mate. So pressure can do strange things, and when ultimately we never won the league, and we just moved on, and Walter left. My own personal view of that, and I'm interested to get Fox's, is I think the mistake that we made was we announced in October that Walter was leaving. I think in hindsight that was a big mistake. Fox?
That was a big mistake in Walter's behalf, I think, because the team seemed to chuck it after that. Do you not think so, Bob?
I'm afraid they did. I can mind you at the time that when Walter turned round practically mid-season and said he was gone at the end of the season. And, a lot of people ran out of legs as well. Yeah? I was a bit disappointed. I mean, Laudrup, fantastic, but to me, he kind of ran out of legs, if you mind. And we got beaten in the cup final of the Hertha. Never kicked the ball all season.
Never kicked the ball that season.
No, never kicked it. But as you say, it's history.
I'll come back to you, Bob. I just want to see if there's other people out there wanting to get involved. GB's...
No bother, pal.
He's got the generations clashing. It'd be good to hear from young and old out there what their thoughts are on pressure. Did it matter so much then? I think it did. What's the number? Bridgeman.
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Or join us at Skype at RangersRadio.online. We brought in the call by Fox on Old School, but if you phone in, hang up, we will phone you back and then we'll bring you into the conversation. What's your gut feeling? What's your gut? GB.
For this season?
Do you think? I mean, obviously, the next season's always the most important one because you can't do anything about history. Mm-hmm. You can only look back at it. You can't alter it. Well, unless you're a certain club.
Do you know something, Ox? Like, I had like hopes for this season, but I was still quite nervous because when you look at like Walter Smith's teams even Dick Advocaat's team, you've seen like expensive signings in amongst the teams. And don't get me wrong, there has been money spent in our team, but like, not to be
Bob,
cheeky,
you'll need to be quiet, mate. It's coming through your phone. Whatever you're doing, mate. Carry on, GB.
I'm sorry.
No, just put your phone on mute. Carry on, GB.
Like obviously not to be cheeky, but a lot of them, like Kamara, obviously came for Dundee and stuff like that. And
you've got to remember that in that team, Alan McDonald had came for St Johnstone. You know, there is similarities.
So would you say then that it's maybe this team's been, well, there's the word team, so that we've built a proper bunch of guys that work for each other, and this is why we're getting the success. Whereas maybe in previous teams we had a couple of standout guys that pulled the team along, kind of thing. Well, like if you're comparing the 75 to the new, you'd probably say that each of them were on kind of the same level. These
guys were that 75 team. I mean, you've got John Gregg voted the greatest ever Ranger, Sandy Jardine with a stand-on named after him, Derek Johnson, whose record's just unbelievable when you look what he's done in the game as a young man, Barcelona Bears and Colin Steen and Alan McDonald, Tommy McLean, you know. So there's a mixture. I think this team, they've not won anything yet, Bob G, and they've not got the history. It's always when you look back.
This team will win something though. The main prize. We all know that. That's the come. But they've though. I don't want to say they've not got a winning mentality because, Christ, after winning 15 games in the 12, they've got a winning mentality, all right. And when it comes, like Souness said to Gerard the other week there when he was on the panel, once the first trophy comes, then the rest should follow. Not saying it'll be easy, but the rest should follow. And that's what happened with Joe Wallace. See, we're on about a comparison of generations. We're living in a time, as the boys are saying there, that you're living in instant communication. I can mind I was at Shawfield one day. You mind of that place, Ox? I was at Shawfield, and we Tommy McLean ran out of the touchline. They got a ball, and Hibs were beating Celtic 1-0 that day. That same season, 75, and the boys were always shouting at him, Tommy, it's 1-0 for the Hibs, 1-0 for the Hibs, and he said, what's the score? What's the score? You could lip read him. And that's the way it was at that time. It must have been a lot of pressure for these guys playing at that time, not knowing the score, whereas now it relayed to them straight away with this world instant communication. So, different kind of pressure. I'm not going to say it's equal, but a different thing. Eh?
And everything was played at 3 o'clock on a Saturday then, wasn't it on the telly?
Everybody was playing at the same time, yes. You didn't need to wait till Sunday or Monday or whatever. Everybody was playing at the same time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
And no Sky World.
No, you're right. We'll be joined by Andy Fillade, so obviously too young to remember the 75 team, you know. But evening, Andy.
Evening, everyone. Hope you're all okay.
Evening, Andy.
I was struggling a bit, Oxley, being a wee bit younger than you. I was definitely struggling right enough. But yeah, you better believe, my friend, that was very, very important, stopping there 9. Some great memories in that. They fell away roughly when we humped them 3-0 at Ibrox. And then they kind of capitulated and Rangers got stronger. And then the Dundee game that Bob J was on about, if I remember rightly, they scored really early doors and they were right in it. And then there was a bit of trouble in the crowd. A few of our guys on the park and all that, and it turned it round. As did happen, Bob J, as you will know, many a times.
I was at the front of it, bud. I was at the front of it, getting showered with balls that day.
Yeah, I was just at the side of it, right enough. But that tended to change it. That tended to wobble it. Rangers went on to win 2-1. But yeah, and then the Colin Steen. Well, when Colin Steen came back, his first game was St Johnstone there. And I think 42,000 turned up for it, didn't it? It was about 42,000 odd there turned up for it.
Spot on. I was there.
I think got a young squad early doors, if I remember rightly, 1-0.
Yes.
Not a very good game right enough, but we were all there for Colin Steen coming back, weren't we?
That's exactly right, yeah.
But
Exactly
yeah. Do you know what that means? That winning that league there means as much as this one's going to mean to now. In different ways, you know. I mean, we had to part with a lot there. We used to beat them regularly, but it was just inconsistency against the other teams.
Well, I'll ask you a question then. Andy, put you on the spot. Right, so what that proved is, when you look back during their era, we could beat them, but everybody raised their game because it was the Rangers in town even then.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, there used to be a saying, didn't they, when we went into places like Motherwell and all that, they didn't like the Rangers coming into town because they were sick of all the Glasgow guys coming down and doing this and doing that. And that's where their new casuals and all that came about, back from that era, right enough. But Rangers have always been hated, right enough. But that was the start of it was the start of the two trebles, like you say, the League Cup, and it was a build-up. It was a very, very good team, that. And we lost a few, but they were very, very strong, the Rangers then. We were a powerhouse team then. You know, you knew if Push Company, very fit, and you knew if Push Company showed we would come out, you know, in the major games back then. Very good team. Very good team.
Jock Wallace team's done nothing in Europe, mate. Nothing.
No, poor. Very poor. I think Big Jock left, didn't he, at the time, because he just wanted a few bob that he thought that he could have rounded that team to make a good go at the European, and they wouldn't give it. And I think that's why he left. That was the story I had, right enough. Mm-hmm. It was a shame because they were a very good team. That team deserved more than what it got, even though we got the two trebles. You know, the
team that Jock left, we obviously was aging a bit, but also had Cooper and Bobby Russell in it, and we got to the quarterfinals under Chan Greg.
Aye, can I come in there, Ox?
Yep.
See that team that you're talking about? Well, Greg inherited that team as manager, right? And the first European Cup tie that John Gregg got was against, believe it or not, Juventus, and we lost 1-0 in Stadio Comunale. Apparently, McCloy had the game of his life that night. And when we came back, we Alan McDonald, Gordon Smith, etc., who'd come into the team at that time, ran the legs off them, and they were practically the Italian World Cup squad. Roberto Begata, Paolo Causio, and all them, they were off playing. And then we went on to move. The UEFA Cup winners was PSV Eindhoven, and Rangers lost a goal in 90 seconds that night and came back to win with a magnificent performance with Bobby Russell. We won 3-2. And I remember Kevin Keegan sat on one of the, like Bridgeman mentioned, one of the Saturday morning programmes that says, if Glasgow Rangers get through this tie against Cologne in Germany, just hand them the trophy. Because that was the champions of Italy, champions of Holland, and we were facing the champions of Germany. But we lost to Cologne, and that was it. Yeah, that was my take on that team.
I'm still convinced with the won that game. EJ hadn't been injured anyway, but been joined by Alex from Wishaw, and then we'll go back to young GB, who's put the cat amongst the pigeons tonight. Going in.
Hi.
Alex, how we doing? Evening, Alex.
Good evening, lads. Ox here. Bridgeman.
Evening.
Everybody else in the panel. Another great show. Reminiscing here. 1975 Easter Road. It's another magical night for the Rangers, or afternoon anyway. And there was a lot of pressure on us here to stop 9 in a row. We'll stop 10 in a row. Late Bobby McKean, out in the wing puts the boiler. Big Colin Steen puts the header in. But we missed a penalty during that game, and also Andy Jordan missed a penalty.
Hit the post, didn't he?
Aye, and I was friendly. I'm friendly with the call with John Brownlee. Played with Hibs right back. John Bartley. Aye, great boys, man. So it was a big thing. That time the music group was a band called Pilot, and that was a song, It's Magic, you know. That'll never be 10 in a row. That's what the Rangers fans sang that day. So that's a memory there. So there was a bit of pressure on it. As years went on, then you get the 9 in a row, and it's not that the pressure is now, right enough, I wouldn't imagine, but it was still one of the greatest Rangers team then. And when John Gregg took over, as you're saying there, beat that Juventus team at Ibrox, the Copman Road wasn't even, that was it, demolished. And played them.
That was getting demolished at the time, mate.
That's right. They had 9 World Cup players in their team.
Mm-hmm.
That was some performance. Big Gordon Smith in that.
Right.
Then
Smith
they played
McDonald.
the Dutch. That's right, Bob Jair. Then they beat the Dutch. Then Cologne. And you've got to remember, the Rangers centre forward, they'd signed a guy called Billy Urquhart then.
Billy Urquhart, aye.
You know, so... Big John, the quarter-finals European Cup and that, so... Quite a good European record. But great memories. Another thing that Fox was talking about again there with the Rangers and Airdrie. And Airdrie beat us 1-0. The very last game of the season, there 80,000 there. I mean, I played football right through school. The guy who scored the goal with Airdrie, Alistair McRoberts, he scored the goal with Airdrie that day. We'd be walking through school football together.
What was that, St. Glenn? St. Glenn?
Sorry?
What was that, St. Pius?
St. Pius? No, I can assure you that, folks. Yeah, it was no St. Ignatius either.
No, don't be biting, pal. Don't be biting.
No. What do you call it? But Beatty's all played the Bunkle Youth Club. It was a big thing then. They were equivalent to, you've got Drumchapel Amateurs, Easter Kegs, Harmony. Bunkle was a big team out here. And all the guys that really made the grade out here played through right with Bunkle and that, you know. And Alistair, he signed with Airdrie. He scored a goal that day. Only a young boy and all right enough, but great memories. So that takes you way back with the jersey, you know.
You took me back there. I was away back when I was a wee young lad and lots of battles against Harmony Row and St. Anthony's and people like that. Oh, big. Good guy. Great games. Great
Good players on the bridge, man.
Oh, you had to fight, didn't you? You had to fight. You had to win your own corner, you know. You got to do it, you know. Although I was a bit light for that game. It was a fighting part of me. I was not very good at that, you know. No heart, you know.
You're right, also. Rangers signed boys there. You see Alec McDonald for St Johnson. Big time for Scythe at Motherwell. I think we signed him for about 25,000. Come on to do the job. Me, Tom McLean for Kilmarnock.
But you know, for all these clubs that you're mentioning, the Rangers were the big audience, weren't they? They wanted all their players to be noticed because that's where you're going to get the money from. You're going to give them a lot of money for your players. And you know what you might be saying, 50 grand way back then for a team like Motherwell was a lot of money.
A lot of money. You sign these players, but every team had their good stars. Dundee United was good teams. The Dundees, you get through the Hibs, the Hearts, all competitive games and that, and all good players. And it definitely was a bit. How many would you call when John Gregg scored for Scotland? Right, 1965. We beat Italy. No, schoolboy, would you call it? Schoolboy enclosure at Hampden. We went through the school. Right back, Jim Baxter lays the ball off and John Gregg scores. It's the only time in football. Rangers played Hearts of Falling Sard at the old Tynecastle. And every man all stood up, Hearts fans and Rangers fans, and chanted John Gregg's name right round Tynecastle. We beat Italy 1-0. Unfortunately, we went out in Naples the next week and they beat us 3-0 over there.
That was that game. That was a great game, by the way.
There you go. And they all stood at Tynecastle, all Hearts and Rangers fans, and chanted John Gregg's name right round that stadium. I've never ever seen it like that in my life.
I remember when at Hampden when we were playing them, it was they had with a centre forward on a boy for Sunderland. He was Scots like, but he was for Sunderland. Neil Martin. Neil Martin for Sunderland played.
I played with Hibs and did to Sunderland.
There you go.
Neil Martin played for Alloa.
There you are. Aye. So I remember that very well. Brilliant game. John Gregg and Baxter were excellent. It's excellent.
There we go, GB. I never thought when you started this we would go doing this, did you?
No, not at all, but it's great. It's a great lesson.
I'll ask you a question, mate.
Oh, no.
Do you think that some of the pressure comes from the modern stuff, the Facebook? And I'll take the same question to Bob, Jen and Alec. The modern stuff, the Facebook, the podcast, people like us that are on here doing what we're but the world's became more intense and more demanding. You know, but we only had football then.
Aye. I think, like say, the new for me myself, this is the longest period that, as a Rangers supporter for myself, that I've seen us go without a title, and it's even strange talking to some of my pals that where they've got sons who have never seen Rangers win a title, and that adds to the pressure as well, because they're so eager for their sons to see Rangers win a title, and happy them getting to see Rangers get their 55th title. So that amounts to pressure, plus the team are trying to get themselves some history as well. I take it, being a professional football player, they would want to at least say one day they done this, they won this and stuff like that. So they're not going to want to finish their careers without any trophies in the cabinet either. So that will add pressure to it. But how they've handled it this year, Oxford, so far, has been outstanding. I don't know what they've done, but you can see a calmness even when you're seeing our manager. I miss the things where he was like jumping up and down, and even that game at Celtic Park where he was screaming into the camera. I love that, but I can understand why he's not doing it. But hopefully that will come when when 55 comes home. Hopefully we'll see an outburst for him, which would be brilliant.
That's a good point you make, and I'll go to Alex first, then Bob. You're obviously anybody a certain vintage. We won the league in '64, and we never won it again in '75 because Kilmarnock won it.
Kilmarnock won it. That's right. Willie Waddle was the manager. That's right.
And then, so obviously, then you went to the mid '70s with a good back end of the '70s. Then we went from '78 to Souness came in '86, '87 season. So we had a couple of barren spells then, and a lot of people grew up with that, and formed the backbone of a lot of the support at the moment. Still, that's new generations, but it's not a new thing for some people, but it just feels different because of the circumstances, Alec. Yeah?
Well, it's definitely different, because when you find out where we're doing the bottom leagues and all that, we never expected anything like that for Rangers, and it's been absolutely horrendous. All of these young guys to see this. I'm talking about my two boys. They've never seen Rangers winning a league, right? That's them and all their pals. God almighty, man. You keep look all the videos away back, and you see all the great Rangers players, and they're looking and going, how we at the state we're in. And you're like that. Well, the good thing about this is you take them all in, and all the bads that's happened to your club, seeing we do turn the corner, it makes it all the sweeter. And this is what's happening now. We've not won nothing. Let's be quite truthful. We've not won nothing yet. And the pressure will get tighter. The pressure will get tighter as we get nearer the finishing line. And this is what it's all about. But these young guys, man, this is what it's all for them and all, to see Rangers winning a championship. Because I must admit, I'm 66 years of age here. I was beginning to think, I don't think I'm going to see all this, the way things was happening with the club. And there we've climbed back up. Stevie Gerrards at the time, the club stood by him. Potentially, we could see what was going to happen. The guys took us to another level. And it's like a dream world for us now. But we had barren years, but they were nothing compared to what we've had. Nowhere near it.
No. Bob, Joe.
Well, I think, talking about barren times, the Rangers here, yep. I can remember, I'm 70 and I mind that in my time. If you mind, the club was under a tenure of a guy called Lawrence Marlborough. Mind him out, and he was out in Reno in Nevada, and he had, I think it was a family thing, I'm not sure, but he had very, very little interest in the club, and he was certainly wasn't going to put any input into it. And that's when Murray came in and bought the club off him and got it in financial terms for a song.
John Lawrence's grandson.
Was he John Lawrence's grandson? Well, he had very, very little interest.
That's who it was.
All his business interests were in the States, and very little interest in a football club in Scotland. I mean, he was aware of it, but he didn't have the heart for it. That's when he sold it to Murray. Yeah? Am I right?
That's
and
right,
then Murray did the rest with the finance. I'm not going to go on about what happened. What happened? It's too big a thing to talk about now. Christ, it would take us a month to talk about it all. But yeah, the lean periods, that was due to the lack of interest in the club, was the first one. But the second one, well, we all ken what's happened there. And back we've appointed a really good man as a manager. He's dragged the club up with the scruff of the neck. It's took him a wee while, but it was always going to. Took him a wee while. He's got a really good squad of players here. And here we are again. We're on the verge of 155. And let's make sure whoever's in charge, let's make sure we've not made the mistakes of the past. Keep the club at the top. We are the Rangers. We belong at the top, and we want to stay at the top for the sake of this magnificent support of ours.
Can I come in, Ox?
Yes, mate.
I'm just going to say, John Lawrence, I remember him well. He was
my
huge.
old John Lawrence.
Old John Lawrence. He was a great chairman of Rangers, great chairman. And I think he was still with us in 1976, 77, and then he died. And he was the chairman of Rangers for all the time. He retired. I think he retired in the early 70s or something like that from his work. And his business started to dissipate as well. His grandson, Lawrence Marlborough, as Bob Jer said, he was inherited Ibrox. He inherited business, and so it jumped a generation because I don't think he had any sons that were interested. So I went to the grandson, and he said that as far as he was concerned, he was wanting to get it punted, and punted he did, and he found because I think the boy for Falkirk come over. I can never remember this boy's name.
David Holmes.
And he brought in Souness, and then before you know it, Souness brought in or introduced what's his name, Murray, and Murray said, "I'll buy it."
It didn't happen. It didn't happen overnight, mate. That happened.
No. It took years. It took a couple of years. But we remember that we're speaking about at that time. Rangers were rebuilding their stadium and everything. So it took a long time.
All right, interesting stuff. GB, back to you.
Aye, I mean, when you're saying that we, at that time we were building for something big, also Souness, and then into the Smith era, and then obviously onward to Advocates time. Looking at all the title wins, like for me, for 9 in a row, I was only a 10-year-old when 9 in a row, when the 96-97 season, and for me as a fan then, I expected it because we were a winning team. So I didn't have the same kind of reservations this season because we've been. But I think this is why this season will make it for me our greatest title win for myself, because I just think we've come so far, and I think this time we've had patience with our manager, and it's something I think we need to have going forward. That we've learned for this, that if we give a guy time, he will turn it round. The only thing is, I would say, is we can't appoint somebody like a Pedro Caixinha again. At least with Ger, we were signing, with Steven Gerrard, we were signing a true pedigree champion. You know what I mean? So I think on you.
It's the question you're asking me, what will come after the Tunas. Is this going to be our greatest ever title win?
Aye. And maybe we can compare.
Right. I don't know who's going to come in. Can you go on mute, please? Right, so get yourself on mute, everybody, and when we come back, GB's going to ask you, and you can come and join us on the phone if you want. If we win the league this season, is it going to be our greatest ever title victory? Go on mute. We're going to have a tune for Old School Blue.
Took a trip to Ibrox, my favourite team for to cheer, where they were playing the Glasgow Celtic on the first day of the year. Now the ground was filled to capacity as the teams come out to play. The animals sang the soldiers' song, and the people sang Dolly Gray. Now Now half-time it came and went on. The Glasgow Celtic were in the lead. Finian Tully was rounding everywhere, shaking his rosary beads, while the green flags, they were flying high. Celtic hearts were full of pride. The second half, sure it started, and the Rangers, they turned the tide. Won't you play up the Glasgow Rangers? Oh, play up the boys in blue. Oh, play up the Glasgow Rangers. We're here to cheer for you. Now the ball goes out to Walker, and from 30 yards he did score. Sure you couldn't hear your ears at Ibrox Park, for the sash my father wore. Oh, play up the Glasgow Rangers. Sammy Cox is on the ball. He slips it through to Willie Woodbarn. Then on through to Ian McCall to Billy Simpson. Oh, here come the boys in blue. Well, Simpson beats the Celtic centre half, and then goes number 2. Now the Rangers fans are roaring. Jardine Young, he takes a free onto the head of William Simpson, and then goes number 3, while it's 3-1 for the Rangers. That was the final score. A happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Celtic once more. Yes, a happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Celtic once more. Yes, a happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Fenians once more.
It's a happy new year from Ibrox Park, and Rangers beat the Celtic once more. So it is, and so it is, yes.
Is that the guy that sings in Tenerife, in the Tenerife Rangers bar?
Who? No, that's Jordy McBlain.
He's brilliant. He sounds like that as well. He does great songs.
I knew, man.
Great.
That's not.
No, that's a different person saying. But they all sound, they've got the same. Let's say some of them have got the same style. You know, Bridgeman's got that. You've got Bridgeman.
Dulcet tones.
Dulcet tones, you know. I'll give you a song and that, no.
And some of them based it on Val doing again, Bridge based it on Ben doing again. Right. GB, have you got access to Facebook, the Rangers Facebook
page?
Rangers Radio Facebook page, yeah?
Yeah, I do, aye.
Right. Fox is on YouTube, yeah?
Okay.
Right, we'll ask for a snap poll, right? And I'll go around the panel. If, and it's still an if, and Alex is right, it's still an if, we've not done anything yet. If we win the league this year, will it be our greatest league victory ever? Yes or no? And we'll start with Andy Felix. We'll have your thoughts, Andy, since you're on the panel. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, Bridgeman, you check the lobby, see how it's gone in there for the voting. Yes, is it because of the journey, mate? Is it because of the journey for you, Andy?
Oh, definitely. Just for everything we've been through, and you know, people we've lost, like you said there the other night. I keep thinking again about my old man and all that, and lots of people I've met through this on the radio stations and all that. So definitely. Christ, we didn't know what was going to happen there, did we? So at the end of the day, yes, you've got to put that down as it has to be an achievement. So I would also say with the prevalence of players we've got there as well, it would definitely go down as the all-time achievement for me for Rangers, definitely.
All right, okay. And I know you don't say that lightly. Alex?
No.
Definitely with the biggest achievement, without a shadow of a dog. And my first game was 1962. My father took me to Rangers in St Mirren, Scottish Cup final. And I've followed the Gers right through, just like yourselves. Seen all the good times, I've seen some bad times. But this last number of years has been absolutely none but horrendous. And for the Rangers lift this championship, and it's an emotional time with all the people that we know, family members that we've lost. It's just, it will go up there with the highest, to me anyway, Rangers award. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, bring your good self in, Bridgeman.
Yes, for me, it's going to be the greatest. Whenever we win it, this year or the next year, whatever, but if it's this year, it'll be the greatest championship Rangers, my Rangers team that I've been watching has done it. Has been fabulous, just fabulous. The way we've done it, and all the things that the recent history of last 10 years, all of that come through. And I think you'll find out there's some of the enemy will turn in and say, they were down there in the bottom league. They got ended up in the bottom league, and now they're top of the league and winning it. What's happened to us? That's what they'll say.
They're already saying that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Fox, I'll bring you in and get some of the feedback. For YouTube, just yes or no, just roughly, mate, doesn't it?
Aye, there's a few boys saying it'll be the best season for them. We've had some great times. We'll take out Cup Winners' Cup celebrations, but I don't think there's ever been a time in Rangers history where, as Bridgeman says, we've came from so far back to now going so far in front, mate. I think it'll be like Rio de Janeiro Festival in Glasgow when we win that league. I think it'll be absolutely fantastic. And if ever a club deserved to win a championship coming from where they've came from, it's us.
Did you get your thing about the Hummer through?
I did indeed.
All right. Did you get yours as well, GB?
No, yet. Mine must still be in the post.
I think if you check on Skype, mate, you might find you did.
Right. Okay.
All right. So you were on Facebook.
Yep. Billy Mack agrees with you, Ox. He's saying a definite yes because of the journey.
Aye, the journey. Aye.
It's a journey, I think. See, for me, Ox, do you know what it is as well? I think this will be the greatest one because I feel I'll be celebrating it with all the Rangers fans this time.
Because it'll be the first one you're old enough to drink.
Can I just say, Ox, it'll also have a tinge of sadness for me because, like a lot of people who have lost loved ones during this time, people like your father and Big Billy Blackett, who couldn't hang on that long just to see this. I'll think much of them on that day as well.
Young Dado as well, mate. We've lost a lot of people just on this show, you know. Good bears, you know. And
without a doubt, and loads of families will be thinking the same.
Well said, you two. Well said.
It's a big number.
Aye. George Logan, who's dealing with some family stuff, is new. George, we are thinking about you, big man.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just say that there was quite a lot in the lobby here put in a yes. There's a couple put in no, but mostly all yes.
All right, okay.
And can I just say, I want to give our manager all the praise I can. This has all happened for us. I know it's been a journey and it's took like 7 years, but before. But as soon as Mr. Gerrard came in the door, things started to change. Now he came in when they had their fairy tale manager in, Mr. Rogers, and they were winning everything in front of them. And since he came into our thing for 2.5 years, and it'll be 3 years by the end of the season, and hopefully we've won that league. I've never known a manager to come in and pick everything up from flat, completely flat, and go through that in 3 years and win the league. Fabulous, just utterly fabulous.
Ox, can I come in on that one?
Aye, mate, carry on.
Bridge, 100%. And do you know, see for the stories that, like, see yourself and Bob and Alex were saying the day, or the night, sorry, that you can tell that, see, since Steven Gerrard's come in, he's put the Rangers values back into the surroundings of Rangers first, and then when he started picking his team, he's made sure that he's bringing in guys that understand who they're playing for and what their responsibilities are. And I think that's, like you were saying earlier, you were signing guys for Kilmarnock and was it St Johnson and stuff like that. Like, these guys were coming to Rangers because they knew it was Rangers. And I think Steven Gerrard's been he's picked guys that are there to do a job, but they're going to love the club as well. If you mean that, like, even when you hear the Big Barisic and they're interviewing him and they asked him about, do you know that you've got a song? And he knows his song. I mean, where else will a player get something like that? And he'll always remember that. He always, if he moves on to Rangers and stuff like that, he'll always have that. And that's just what the players are. This is why the players are probably producing the goods for us, because they know how much it means to us and all.
I think the manager's got a bit of input. Didn't maybe have such an input in bygone generations, but I mean, Souness came in and transformed us and won the league in his first season, you know. So, but I just think the circumstances are so much different, Alex, you know.
Definitely. Well, it's some achievement. There'll be some achievement. And as it's down to Stevie Gerrard's come in there, they've given him time to get the team together, to get the right players, to get the proper coaching, and everybody buys into what the fella wanted to do. And for a short space of time where we've came to, and to turn over and to be 21 points clear at the moment, it's, as I say, it's just like, it's dreamland. Absolutely dreamland. But what an achievement to win this. And it's going to be ironic to think we're all on about winning cups and that, and we missed out in the League Cup. Mark Warburton missed out in the Scottish Cup and all that. When we're going to win our first cup, and there you go, the first cup that Stevie Gerrard could possibly win is the big one. It's absolutely massive to win that championship. Unbelievable.
But can I just say that this team we've got now are a really good team with some smashing players in it, and they're playing as a good unit. 90% of the time they're playing well as a good unit. We know sometimes they just simply fall off a wee bit and then have to pick up. And it's those times where we're weakest, and sometimes we lose goals. We can't afford that. And I'm on countdown. I'm counting down one game at a time. And sooner or later we're going to get to that date that says, you know, we've won the league. We have won the league. Mathematically, we've won it. That's me. I'll be very, very happy, and we'll start our celebration. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think they'll get the credit. And I'll go to Andy Phillips. I don't think you get the credit till you've got the trophies in the bag. Having a great side and coming close means nothing, you know. Well, for the Rangers, it doesn't. I know Hearts still have a dinner for their team. It ended up runners-up, but we're a bit different.
Yeah, I totally agree there. You know, following Rangers through the years, the real greats have stood up by what we've seen, and used to go over supporters clubs all around the country and all that, and we were, you know, close by then. We knew the score. I think we've got a good plus side at the moment, but I want to see whether we've got the boys right to go right through it and really set about them and show them that we're here now. We're about to start a new era for the younger ones. Also for us, it's, you know, been there, done it, wore a T-shirt kind of thing, right enough. I mean, for our age and many, many guys that we know, I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. We're probably athletes, so God knows what's going to happen when the day comes. I've told her anyway, expect me missing for a month, like, you know. But I just want to see us do it. Like, I just want to. I want it for these young ones. Like, we've had a bit of success. We've seen great Rangers teams, and I still want it as passionately as I did back in the day. But just get these young, like I said before, the young guys, the Garys there and all that. that's their time now. You know, we've seen it there. I'd die happy if we win this league, honestly. You know, I'm on the last round. I want to see a few trophies like we had before. But for all these young guys now, because once we taste one, they'll win it again. You know, there's no better place to be. We are the people. And that's what it's all about.
Well, you've got the show in the background. You turn the show off, mate.
Yeah. Well, put this off, yeah.
Hurry up, please. Go on in, Billy. Hurry up. You must know now.
Right, that's it. Put it off.
All right, what's on your mind, mate?
No, I'm just loving it because I was born in 62 and I've been going to the Rangers game for 1971 and just all these memories coming back and all the rubbish we went through in the 12 years that we've been into the Premier League, and now it's coming back. Karma is a good thing. Brilliant.
The question was asked, if we do win it this year, and it's still an if, will it be our greatest league victory ever? What's your thoughts?
I would definitely say it's up there amongst it. It has to be. I mean, I have suffered mega. As I say, I've been going to the games since I was 9-year-old, and the last 12 years since we got put in the lowest league, it has to be. It has to be. And Stevie G will be forever in our hearts. And I hope he's going to be with us for a few years before he takes the Liverpool job. He starts this on a run, winning the league.
I started earlier than you. I started going on when I was 7, but I've only been going for 20 odd years.
Aye, but I'm 58, like, you know, so I was born in 62. When were you born?
I never caught that question there. Sorry about that.
I'm saying I was born in 62. When were you born?
He's kidding you on, pal. Don't answer.
Billy, you're breaking up.
I know, but when he winds me up when I've got a drink on me, and then I end up letting a wee blue word come in, and then he's like, all right, Billy, calm down, but and then
he's like,
he doesn't speak to me again.
Stop digging. Stop digging, pal.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
No, I'm loving it because, I mean, I was playing catch up on the Radio Clyde phone and thing and that, and then they were talking about, oh yeah, Scott Brown's going to be a mega part of the new Celtic, this, that, and the next thing, and they were talking about him being the new manager, and I said, well, yes, please let that happen. Please let Scotty Brown be the new manager after Neil Lennon. Let them swap places. Loving it. Happy days are here again.
Bridgeman, we'll get a caller coming in. I need you to get a pen and a bit of paper. Can you manage that?
Yeah,
of course.
Bridgeman, all right. Okay.
So what do you want me to do, mate?
Just hold fire. I'm going to bring this caller in. You're still breaking up, Billy. I never heard that last question. We'll be joined by Gary. How are we doing, Gary?
I'm good. How are we doing, Ox?
I'm all right, mate. How's your good self?
Getting by, mate. Getting by. Another day closer to all this being all over.
So, what's on your mind, mate?
I don't know. I heard you chatting there about, just to realise the slow. It's not in the bag yet, but it's as close as it's going to get before it falls over the edge, and we've done it. And I was just speaking to my lad tonight. He just turned 17 last week, and he's he remembers Rangers winning the league, but he was really young. Do you know what I mean? And he was saying to me,
"It's difficult when you're so young. Your memories on this are great."
Aye, but he was saying to me the day, he says,
"Don't bite."
But he said to me, he says, "Dad, it won't be long till we're singing this again." And he put it on YouTube on the telly, and it was, the Glasgow Rangers champions, the chant, and he said, "I remember singing that with you when we won it last time." And I went, "Wow, man, that's a long time ago." But I said to him, "We'll need to plan, because obviously we're going to have to come up for Corby. But I want to come up. I want to be in George Square. I want to take part in the party. I want, I'm guessing a lot of people are going to travel for it."
Did you get your thing through about the Hummer?
No, I've not got that yet. No, I need to get us booked on that. But my missus says, "Can I come?" And I went,
"No, George Square."
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I need to kind of get the feel for where to head to when we get up there. But we're definitely going up. I don't know whether to plan it to come up.
You're right, Gary. I think it's been mentioned in a few of the Rangers pages and that they're like, if possible and safe to do so, then there's obviously got to be an influx of people heading to George Square. And
I think so, mate. Yeah, I think the whole city will just be alive, to be honest with you.
Especially,
my missus says I'm a bit worried. Party! But the welcome to the party parodies and videos and that.
Pen and bit of paper. You got pen and bit of paper, Mr. Bridge?
Got it, bud.
Right, okay. What I want you to do is start all the words with the capital letters, all right?
Okay.
All right.
FDP.
Is that 3 words or just 1 word?
Are you listening, Bridge? It's a test
go for it.
Right, the first one, I know you can spell. Right, Celtic.
Right.
On.
Right.
Vacation.
Location or vacation?
Vacation. We have V.
Right, okay, pal.
In.
Right.
Dubai.
Goodbye, bye, as the leak has gone high.
What have you got, Bridge?
I've got COVID.
All right, just wonder.
COVID, Celtic on vacation in Dubai.
That's spooky, isn't it? How that, like, all that stuff. I've seen stuff about, like, how 55's been floating about a lot since the start of the season and stuff, and all that. And there you go, like, you spell that out and stuff. It's just, maybe it was written in the stars, boys. You never know.
I know we're having marvellous fun here tonight, but can I just put a serious point on it? We've got an absolutely amazing chance in front of us here, and we've got a huge, biggest game of the season coming up on Sunday against Motherwell, and they will play their heart out against us and start trying to boot us off the park once again. We have to rise above it and go on with our game.
They've got a blue-nosed manager. He might say, take it easy. This is not the biggest game for us.
That's a good point. That's a good point. He'll get chased out of town if he does that.
You hear that?
Not just Motherwell, we've got Hibs as well and Saints. They're on a
No, just talking the next game. Only the next game, guys, please. One game at a time.
Yeah, no, one game at a time.
Have you heard the new Motherwell manager got Rangers tattoos?
All right, one at a time. Right, I'll let you boys. Right,
I said, have you heard the new Mother... Sorry, go for it.
You know the rules, Gary. You strong, but get back behind.
No better.
Get back in line. Go on, Gary, in you come. Hurry up. I
just said the new Motherwell manager's got Rangers tattoos, apparently.
Yeah, according to people on podcasts. Don't believe everything you hear.
Well, we heard Brownie had a Rangers tattoo on his ankle.
No true, mate. Not true. Right, Bob Gear's back with us. How you doing, Bob?
I'm rather wet, lads. Guess where I've been? I had to take the route because I was getting glowers off Mrs. Bob Jelly, and you didn't want to hear her arguing with me on Rangers Radio. You'll get a right laugh. Anyway, how you all doing? Okay, what's the topics we've been carrying on?
You can take the dog soup.
I know. But that's one of the occupational hazards of having a couple of wee dogs. You interfere with my Rangers Radio, and I'm not happy.
We asked the question.
I'm happy now that I'm back. Happy now that I'm back, lads. Good to hear you again.
We asked the question, if we did win the league this year, and it's still an if, will it be our greatest ever league win? And the feedback has been overwhelmingly yes, mate.
What, can you repeat the question, Ox? If we did win the league this year,
would it be our greatest league win ever? And the answer
is... right. I'm trying to, yeah, I would think it would be. I mean, I'm split, obviously, between 75 and this one. Like I tell you, I've still got my story to tell you about 75, and I'll do it when we finally do clinch the league. Yeah, this is a monumental one. I'm amazed at how quickly the club has come back to what's happened here. Just absolutely amazed. Like I practically getting to repeat this every night, but Rangers will be back bigger and stronger, and they'll get stronger still. I believe that. And I don't think there'll be any more 9 or 10 year gaps who were in the Championship. I think we'll be a bit more regular now. We've all learned these lessons of the past. But yes, this will count equally to me, by the way. Probably, foremost saying a lot of people, equally to me as the greatest ever Championship win. And I can't wait. And I'm hoping that all these restrictions will lift, we'll get our freedom back. And obviously, I don't think we're going to see the supporters on, but to be a Rangers fan, to lift this Championship will be absolutely great. After all the contributory factors, the stick you've took on social media, the stick you've took at work, stick you've took in the pub, in life in general about Rangers, this will all be worth it. That'll all be great. Because I'm going looking for them all. There you go.
Brilliant.
And I'm not a violent man, but I'm no sure either. So I'm going to give it all of it. The Samaritans.
They will be at the Samaritans office.
Well, they can be where they like. We got there's some of them. I ken a lot of wonderful boys that support Celtic. These all day, but at the end of the day, the nasty ones, they'll be getting it tight for me. They will, not in a nasty way, but just we'll call it banter.
Call it revenge.
Right. I think your revenge is starting to be served cold. I'll go to Alex with us, and I want to go back to GB because I think he's got most questions, but his subject for the night's just exploded. Alex, obviously the revenge on the football part, you win trophies, but watching them implode with a few weeks, they've only lost 2 league games all season. And it's just been unbelievable.
You couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. As you say, 2 league games. They've won, 13 trophies or something, or 12 trophies. And they've just went...
Come on, 12. Didn't give them an extra one.
Oh, I'm not even interested what they've won to be. See, when you think about it, and they're running about social media, all the beginning of the season, what was going to happen, and it's come back to bite big time. And they cannot just take it in what's happened to their team. They've just fell apart. And it's great. Just having a look across the other side of the city, watching all the carry on, the full lot. Because we know we are the people. We are the establishment. We are the main team. We always will be. And this is it coming back now. And it's absolutely brilliant just to watch them flowing about the place. And I've no regrets at all. I've got a lot of good Celtic friends and all, right good guys. But some of them, by the way, are absolutely right out of order. And they're just getting their comeuppance.
Well, they've a lot of comeuppance to get, Oaks. A lot of comeuppance to get, Paul. There's one word I'll never forget. One word I'll never forget. It's called Sevco. There never was a Sevco. That never happened. We're not going to all that. But, I mean...
Ridiculous.
I think...
They've been a different name 4 times and they call us Sevco. Ridiculous.
Well, I think, that this was going to be a tit-for-tat season. I thought it was what you use term like nip and tuck and tit-for-tat, swap and all that. I thought it would have been the most hard season ever. I said, we're going to have to fight and play here. And it's not... I can't believe it's not panned out that way. Oh, thank God it's not panned out that way. The position we're in is fantastic. It's great. It's a great feeling. That's how we're on here every night with smiles on our faces. But I really, really thought, but I couldn't believe, as you said, how they've imploded, if you want to use that word. I just don't believe it. I thought they've underestimated us. It's as simple as that, guys.
They've underestimated Stevie G and the club and the support. Listen, just wait to hear your name before you speak. Quite a few people on the call. Gary B, it'll be a special time for the young kids, but it'll be a special time for the older guys as well, mate.
I think it's going to be highly emotional. I heard you boys talking about, bells that have passed away in the last, 10 years. Some of these guys passed away and seen us in the third division and the second division and stuff like that. And, they would never have, they'll see it through our eyes, that'll be an emotional time. I get emotional and get teared up just thinking about it. And I'm only 39, guys. Do you know what I mean? I grew up through the 9 in a row. I think when it comes to Celtic fans, right, I don't have anything against Celtic fans in general. But there is no. But what I mean by that is they love their club the same as we love our club, right? And that's the way I was brought up and the way I view it. But there is a large minority of them who have, over the last 9 to 10 years, become unbelievably cocky, right? And to a point where some of them would have got a smack in the mouth if they were talking to you like that in a pub. But because it's their social media and stuff now, it's like they take it to the nth degree. And I've got one in particular, and I've been making daily videos on Facebook just mocking him because he's been giving me it tight for about 4 or 5 years. So I'm quite good with the old editing videos and stuff. So I'm just every single day, I say, "Morning, Sam." Say that, mate.
Does your missus know about that?
I just every day I post a video and tag him in it. So every day he wakes up and he sees it.
Brilliant.
But,
does he feel it?
Because he's what?
Does he feel it and see it?
No, I want something to feel the pain, to be honest with you.
I'm feeling it already, mate, and it's not even there. Anyway.
Hugh Keevins said 5 months is a long time to go, knowing you're not going to win the league.
I've been joined by young Robert, who's a bit young like myself. How are we doing, young Robert?
Good evening, young Ox, and all my fellow bears are on the panel tonight, and everybody listening to Rangers Radio. Good evening, guys.
Good evening,
Robert. How are we doing?
Right, Robert.
Yeah, brilliant.
We asked the question.
Yeah,
you've seen a few league-winning teams. We use boys up in the East End, Bristol, Barnet. You've seen some good sides. And this, because of the circumstances, will it be the most special ever?
Well, emotionally, definitely 100%. Emotionally, it will be the greatest ever, where the Rangers have been and where they've came from. But overall, I mean, I was there in 75 Easter Road, and wee Bobby McKean put the ball in for Big Colin Steen. I was there with my father, my grandfather, my uncles, my 2 uncles, and my father's friends, and that was special. And my father tells me when Colin Steen scored that goal, I get passed a bit like a scud book. So that was very special that day. But one of my great
Easter Road.
Definitely. But I was only 9 year old. But one of my special ones
might have meant something different, mate.
Exactly. But one of my special ones obviously was 1997. Wee Charlie Miller puts it in for my hero, and I still maintain he was the greatest Rangers player I've ever saw, footballer wise, was Brian Laudrup when he scored that goal at Tannadice. So that was special, and with also special moments 2003 against Dunfermline. And I think that was the most nerve-wracking game I've ever went through in my life as a Rangers fan in Helicopter Sunday. But answering your question, yes, emotionally and everything we've been through, this will definitely be the greatest. And you know what, Ox, can I say something? For me, and I can't wait till we lift at that title, because I will look up to the heavens and I'll thank my father, but I'll also dedicate it to a guy who passed away last year, and he was the oldest Rangers season ticket holder before he died, John.
We never caught that name there. Say the name again, Robert.
John Connolly. You heard that when he passed away about 8 months ago. He was 102, and he was the oldest Rangers season ticket holder before he passed away. And I used to take him to the games right up to his late 80s, early 90s. And I will dedicate. Yes, I mean, when we do 155, I will dedicate it to him. And it's just, but can I say something? See, the night your show's been absolutely brilliant. Talking about the old days, the 75 team and all that, it's just makes you so proud to be a Bear. And we don't forget all the bad times. And you know what? Now our time is coming. And as somebody said earlier on there, for these young guys, like young Gary, and Gary, this must be an education to you. You must think you're back at school the night, pal. I know, but the way Bob J and all that, and Alex who was showing that are all talking that, and they've been through all the great times and the not so good times, and it must be an education to young Gary. But that's what's been a Rangers fan. I'm 55 and I'm still getting educated by the Glasgow Rangers.
Can I do a big shout out to you, Robert, for what you've done for that guy? That's absolutely amazing. Brilliant, son. Well done.
He went to Rangers. He watched the Rangers all his life, and when he turned 100, Rangers Football Club gave him his season ticket for nothing, and he passed away with the coronavirus at 102, and he'd still be here with us today. And what a Rangers fan he was, Bridge. And he educated me with guys like Tory Gillett, Alan Morton, Ian McMillan, and all these kind of players, Big Willie Woodburn. He used to tell me stories about all these guys, and he was a wonderful human being and a wonderful Rangers man, and I can't wait to dedicate 55 to him.
Well said. No Bridges.
Well done, Robert.
No Bridges.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Right, brilliant.
Can I come in just for a second?
Aye.
Just to remind people, look, when we got put down to the lowest leagues, we were done the dirty to, as far as I'm concerned. We got put down, and I was so happy when, and not just me, many thousands others, when they decided that we're going to go into the Scottish Football League as opposed to the SPL. And I was really happy. I didn't care where we went, and I was quite happy to go there, right down to the very bottom, which we did. But we started from scratch. And many people don't like the guy. I don't like him myself now after some of the things. But that boy Green, Charles Green, he was there when we put the season tickets out, on sale. He was there, but with no computers or nothing. I had to go up and buy season books, if you follow what I mean. And there you go.
You're having a joke. He was a piss artist. He took us for money.
I don't care.
Come on, you're having a joke here.
I don't care what he was. I'm not having a joke. I'm not having a joke about anything. I'm deadly serious. 2 days in a row,
you're a Tim in disguise.
I right you are, pal. I stood at Ibrox for my season tickets 2 days in a row, 7.5 hours in the queues, 7.5 hours each day to get the season tickets, and I'm happy that day passed. And I don't care about Charles Green. I don't hope he never comes back near Ibrox. I'll be quite happy to never see him again. But for that short time, him and Ali McCoy's carried us through that. So hats off to both of them for that. And here we are, many years later, on the verge of winning the league. So for me, that's where I am now. I don't want to remember too much of that. I want to look forward to winning the league. That's what I want. And I'm definitely not a Tim in disguise, pal. Let me tell you.
I've seen you with a few outfits on, but I've never seen you with one of them on. No. Sometimes people have got to listen to hear what people are saying. Because you mentioned Charles Green doesn't mean you were saying he'd done a great job. What you were saying, he was there. Yeah, and he was there because he was playing the PR thing. You get money in. He was playing us. We know that. But that was part of the journey, and that's what's got us where we are. Alex, who said that there? I never caught it.
It's Gary. It was just to bring up, I think as a club we've done absolutely unbelievably well to get back to where we have in the short space of time relatively that we have, right? I think we can all agree on that. But see if it wasn't for all these leeches along the way, right? Your Charles Greens and your Mike Ashley's and his minions that he sent in to sit on the board, and how quickly could we have done it if it wasn't for them? You know what I mean?
I think the club was broken in 2012 because of what had happened, and we had to put it back together. Even the guys like Murray and that, when they came in the door, they said this is going to be a 7-year journey, and we all balked at that, didn't we? We all balked at it, and they've been proved right. So even if we'd have got the club back in our hands 2012, 2013, it's only 7-8 years away from there, isn't it? So because
you can't choose your circumstances. You've got to deal with them as they come along. But I think thank I don't believe in God, but thank God for Dave King and what that man done, because God forbid where we could still be if some of them people were still in charge of the club for any longer before he managed to get in and bring in Steven Gerrard. Cause
sometimes you need bad luck to get good luck, and we could have had Derek McInnes as our manager. He decided he never knocked it back. Of what I've been heard since, it was never formally offered, but there's conversations were at the end when the two parties partied. But we could have quite easily ended up with Derek McInnes as my manager, no vote Stevie G and Alex. Sometimes you need a bit of luck in life, and that was a bit of luck for us.
Oh, definitely there. That was like the old pals act there, and all there. I got Rangers players there, and all wanted them in there to take the Rangers job. But I'm glad we missed the bullet. But when I look back, and you look in 12, it was an initial shock when I realised how bad Rangers were with the finances. I couldn't foresee anything like that with the David Murray years and that. They just rolled on and everything was successful a lot. Then when it came out about how bad we were, with no money, I just couldn't. I couldn't take it in.
It depends where you read, mate. You were picking up papers and saying we were £200 million in debt because of the charges and the potential charges for the taxman. Which, let's be really honest about it. What we done at the time was perfectly legal. Yeah. Then they changed the goalposts, and then we ended up Mr. White.
DBTs were we were the only club that was using them.
Well,
but
that's
right. They signed the wee Brazilian guy through it as well. But the point is, you never realised. I certainly never realised how bad financially Rangers were. I could never foresee that. Over all the years I'm talking about, I'm going way back, and you never ever thought Rangers would be in a state like that. And this just came tumbling down. I must admit, when it got announced at Rangers, I was in tears. I never thought I'd be able to see anything like that. And now, we've had to build it all back up again. All these young kids that I keep talking about, I know them all around about here. And this is for them. This is definitely for them, for what they've had to take. We've had good times, bad times, but the stick these young guys has took is unbelievable. And I just hope we get the league won as quick as possible and have one big celebration and really rub it in here. And never forget where we've came from. And never let any other team take us back down that road again.
Andy for Leeds, and then young Gary, who's had a history lesson tonight. He can keep his other questions for another evening. Andy for Leeds.
Yeah, well, I just echo what the guys are saying there, especially Alec there, right enough. At the end of the day, we can all go on about these charlatans that come in the club. We all know your Charles Greens, what they got, the 15 stud horses and the money that went missing. But it's a combination as to where we are now. Even the Mad Monk, he came, it didn't work. Right, whoever appointed him in the first place wasn't shooting, to be honest with you. But it ended up that we've got Steven Gerrard, and we're 11 games away from possibly, all going off with heat. So, we're just going to have to take it now. We've been there. So there's no point now. We thought we were in trouble. We're getting ourselves on the ladder. Financial-wise, looks like it's coming good. As the guy said earlier on there, it was a good point. If these guys have had any guile about them and look at the commercial side and what we've done to now, if they'd have done that, Rangers could have been cash rich and we could have been away a lot longer than what we are. But we're at where we are now. And I'm no bothered. As long as we bring the 11 games in, win that league, and then we'll start going forward. And as I keep banging on, all these young guys that are coming up, let them feel like we felt and take us on long after we've gone. And the Rangers will still keep going. And we'll have been part of it. Right. So at the end of the day, 11 games, let's get it done. We can do this now. This is what it's all about.
All right. Robert, it's about good clubs, about people, it's about traditions, it's about family. But it's about memories, isn't
it? Definitely is, Ox. And we'll never forget, we'll never forgive what happened to us in the past. And you're talking with the guys like Lights and that, and I don't really want to talk with them because it gets my blood boiling. But let's look forward to the future, all our bears. Let's look forward to the future. And I'll give you a wee instance. and it's something Big Stevie brought up last night in the show, and it made me look back at the Aberdeen game on Sunday night when I came home from my work. And Big Stevie, right, see that second goal Rangers scored at Pittodrie on Sunday? Watch it closely again, guys, because I didn't realise at the time, and I didn't realise the second time I watched it on Sunday night, but I realised the night after Big Stevie said 25 passes it was, Stevie, and an Aberdeen player never touched the ball. At one point the ball went up there with Tavernier and that Johnny Hayes, but the Hayes never touched it, and Rangers went on, and that wee flick for Kent. 25 passes before Alfredo put the ball in the net. What a goal. And that's what I'm saying, guys. Let's look forward to it and let's appreciate what that team's doing. Because you know what? That they're playing some magnificent football. And I still maintain we're not coming out of second gear in most of these games we've played this season. And see if that team clicks, what a team we're going to have. What a team we're going to have for next season. So we'll never forgive and we'll never forget about the past. We'll always remember where we've came from. But let's look forward, Rangers, because that's what it's all about, going forward from now on.
Well said, Robert.
Well said. Gary.
Well done, Robert.
Gary.
Well done, Robert.
I want to thank you for...
Thanks, guys.
I want to thank you for triggering this tonight, because I think it's been smashing. Because the emotion comes out in people you see. Obviously, some people carry on their wish and say things they shouldn't say, but that's another story, right? But the emotion, you can see it, and obviously me and you are a lot younger than the rest of the panel, so we're a different generation, but it's going to mean a lot for everybody.
No, I mean it has been great for me. The night, I mean, it was a kind of a random question, but it's great to see the traditions are still there for the 75 team, where they had to work hard to stop a 10 in a row season, and like it says, comparing the comparisons to now, where we're going to be overjoyed when 55 comes this season. I think overall we can't say one team's better than the other, but what we can say is that this one, like Robert's saying, is going to be probably the most emotional one, and the most one that we'll probably enjoy, because it means that basically signs off that we're back.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, well said, mate. It's been interesting, right? Okay, so Bridgeman.
Can I come in with a wee question? For you? Just for a wee question for you? You like your stats and all that?
Too difficult now.
No. This is something I heard the day, and I couldn't believe this, right? So I'm going to ask Ox. He'll get it right. I know he will. Ox, see the season we won 9 in a row in 1997?
Mm-hmm.
The season we won 9 in a row. With 21 goals, who was Rangers' top goal scorer that season?
I would go for Gordon Jury.
My son said that to me. Incorrect. Bridgeman, do you know?
Wow, that's you've really pressed my memory buttons here. I can't even think about it now.
Right, okay, I'll ask the man with sense. Bob Gerald, tell me.
I thought you were going to come to me there, Robert.
I thought you were going to go to Foxy with that one.
Could it still be Ali?
Nope.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to think back to the team of that. I know we're nearly there tonight. I'll be as quick as I can else.
1997, Bob Ger. When we won the 9 in a row, who was the top goal? 21.
We didn't win 9 in a row when Negri was playing.
No, one Fox, you come.
No, I've got to go for Ali. That was Ali finished at that time, is it? No, I can't remember. I'll put it there like that. I can't remember. Like, come on,
I think it's Laudrup.
Right.
Sorry, who said Laudrup?
You can say that already.
It was Brian Laudrup, yes.
I said him after I said Jury.
21 goals.
Brian Laudrup. Well done, Fox.
That wasn't a vintage performance.
Would it be strange that our captain could finish the season our top goal scorer in a season all seasons, and considering when you look at that 9 in a row season, it was a striker that that was top goal scorer. What achievement that would be for our captain for all the stuff that he's came through for joining Rangers. I think
he's been there a long time now.
I think the title, him being captain, winning the title, being probably player of the year, and being top goal scorer would be. I think the boy could retire after that, to be honest.
Yeah, but maybe give him the bug to drive on and drive on.
Aye.
Well, we topped our points total, but for the 97 team.
What was it, Fox?
97.
I think it was 80.
Was it? I thought it was 97. There you go.
League tables on this date, right? Okay, so let me see. But was there a vintage season for that? Was it a year for us? Was it? We just done enough, didn't we? You're the late line. But
what was the stats, Socks?
I'm just getting up, mate. Just getting 36 games. There was only 10 teams in the league as well, mate. Yeah?
Right.
So you only...
it was the SPL, wasn't it? It was the SPL, yeah.
36 games. We played 125, drew 5 and lost 6.
Oof.
Yeah, 80 points.
Yeah. But was the standard no a lot better in the days? Let's be honest about it. In the Scottish League, was the Aberdeens and the Hearts and the Hibs and all that, were they no a lot better? And what they've been the last 20 years.
Aberdeen finished 6th in a top 10 league, mate.
But I just think in general, the teams had a lot better players than that in the days. That's just my opinion.
I had this conversation with somebody recently.
I'll put it to you this way, right? That year, I know it was a Champions League. We played 6 games in the Champions League. We won 1. We scored 5 goals and had 13 against Ajax, Auxerre and Grasshoppers. It wasn't exactly a tap league. Whereas the team, what we've done in Europe, I don't know. I think this team will start getting credit, GB, when they win trophies and people appreciate how good they are.
Aye. And that's, you're talking about Europe there, Rox. We're forgetting we're still in Europe. You know what I mean? So, don't get me wrong. Obviously, all focus has got to be on the league. But who's to say we don't go on a wee run in Europe and all this season and top it all off? You know what I mean?
Aye.
First things first.
Yeah.
Aye, the league.
Aye.
The league. All right, man. Been a great evening. You enjoyed it, GB?
Oh, it's been brilliant. And like Robert's saying, the history lesson just fires you up even more. I think I'll be jumping on the computer, having a wee look back and some old stats. I think Stat will be jealous tonight with all the talk.
I think we'll call this show Ho Ho Ho, It's Magic.
It's magic.
We've been joined by a caller. Willie's joined us quickly for Plymouth. Evening, Willie.
I'm good, but I would say this is definitely the most important league we've ever won.
Brilliant, mate.
Brilliant. Well done, Roll. Well done, Paul.
That seems
without a doubt, man. Because you imagine them getting 4 trebles and 10 in a row. You never hear this. You never hear the end of it, would you?
That was a wee stumble.
You wouldn't. It would be like England winning the World Cup and them winning 67. It would be like them having a child. You know what I mean? It would be horrendous.
I lived through all that, pal. That's 67. I lived through all that. Don't worry about that.
Oh no, so they are. Right. Well, I'm just so glad we're going to win this.
Well said.
And I'm the most cautious guy in the world, but
well said,
I just can't see us losing this.
You've joined us just at the end. We're just wrapping the show up, but thanks for...
All right, okay, well, I'll let you go then, but I'm just saying this is the best one ever.
Cheers, Willie. Thanks a lot, bro.
Right, I'll see you later, right? Thank you.
Cheers, mate. It's over to you, Bridgeman.
Well, what can I say? But I easily the best night for quite a while as well, I must say. The guys have been brilliant. Well done, you. It was really good. And your guys, seriously, thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope everybody else enjoyed it. Memories, right enough. Memories. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one of us. I don't know how many sleeps I've got to go before I see my team, but it's going to be 4 or 5. But here we go. Next biggest game of the season coming up Sunday. Everybody, keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers really need us, and they need us badly. So keep it going for the Rangers, everybody. Keep it going.
Okay, can I thank everybody that's joined us? I'm not going to name them all. Thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. Thanks to Bridge. Thanks to Gary, who triggered it off tonight. His initial question just shows you never know where you're going to go in Rangers Radio. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers, past and present. We'll be joined by the one and only Linda. Thanks for listening.
What a fantastic night, Ox, here. Fantastic night.
Cheers, Alex. Thanks a lot, mate. You stay safe, like everybody else. Take it away. Old school blue.
Bow wow.
Today, forever and for always, we are Rangers through and through. Well, the legends come and the legends go, but Rangers live on just the same. For a new one's born when the blue shirts won, and we all remember their name. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever and for always, we are Rangers through and through. And there is no doubt what we're all about when we face the world.